Okay, well, let me see if I can explain this. My idea around emotional resilience muscle and capacity training is the fact that fitness and exercise is parallel to emotional resilience. Now, how does that work? My background is personal training. I was a CSCS. I was an exercise therapist. And for me, to build the capacity and the resilience in someone's muscles and their ability to do harder exercises, you have to start at the most baseline piece, and the easiest position, and explain how to move their joint properly, how to fully, contract and release the muscles, because you can only strengthen the range of motion that you work, right? So if you're only ever doing a pelvic tilt, which is if you're laying flat and you lift your hips up and back down, that is not a squat, but that is the beginning of a squat. So as you increase your strength and you increase the range of motion that you're working in, you slowly build the capacity for harder exercise. So if I start on a pelvic tilt and then I work up to a hip bridge and then I work up to a bodyweight squat, I will eventually be able to, over time, and building my muscular resilience, right, and building my capacity, I will be able to use weight, put weight in my, hands, back, whatever, and squat with weight, right? But I can't start there effectively because I can only gain strength in the range of motion that I work, and I have to first build the foundation of the movement to be able to go up to and advance myself with a higher level of capacity and resilience. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So if we look at that from an emotional standpoint, I have to first learn how to be angry. What are the components of being angry? What are the sensations in my body? And then I have to move through that emotion fully. And that is the workout, right? So my emotional resilience muscle capacity training is 7 steps. I think it's 7, where you're using acceptance, validation, permission, and boundaries, sensation and holding space. Then you are a soft place to land. And then your full recovery is reconnect and repair. So that you go from acceptance, you go up the curve, you peak at your top of your workout, which is in sensations. You come down with like stretching, and cool down is a safe place to land. And then you come back to homeostasis, which is repair and reconnect. But until you follow that process, until you complete the process of anger all the way through, it moves all the way through your body, and you come out the other side. And on the other side, you're safe, alive, and loved, right? Until that full thing happens, you are not learning how to fully move anger through your body. You're not learning how to fully move sadness through your body. So each repetition you go through, each workout that you go through, your opportunity for a 3-year-old to be angry is their reps. That's a rep. That's a workout, right? So it's their anger workout. And again, you're not making them angry on purpose. You are just using, life is going to happen either way. So if you start looking at every time a child gets angry, every time a child gets sad, every time a child gets insert emotion, as an opportunity for them to build their emotional resilience muscle around that emotion, and to build their ultimate capacity to feel the emotion as they grow and develop through their life, they're going to end up as an adult with a much higher level capacity to handle life's difficult things. But if you expect a full-grown adult to handle a year like this year with grief, devastation, the world falling apart, World War III, like whatever the stresses of life, but they don't have any training, and they're only ever working in the range of motion that's the only place they have strength, and they only know how to have angry outbursts and beat other people or shoot other people. Like, if your limited expression of anger is to be quiet, shut it down, and then explode, that is the only way you know how to move through that emotion. If your range of motion that you work in with being sad is crying 2 tears and then shutting it down and being like internally shut down, that is the only range of motion that you know how to work sadness in. So if we start looking at the silly things that kids go through, as far as like dropping ice cream or wanting French fries, and they're sad or they're angry or whatever, as an opportunity to train them how to not only feel their emotions, like what it is, what it's for, why we have it, and to move it through that full anger workout, that full sadness workout, that completing the process of feeling the emotions all the way through, so that they know that they're safe, alive, and loved on the other side of feeling their emotion fully and moving that energy fully and completely through their body. That helps build that muscle so that when they're older and they lose a job, they get broken up with their girlfriend or boyfriend or whoever, and someone dies, because life is going to happen. We cannot avoid pain in the human reality. Like, that is not how the material world works. But you are much more equipped for something stressful and hard, right? Let's just say, let's use the workout analogy. You go hiking and you get lost in the woods, and you're now having to backpack out 47 miles with 50 pounds on your back. If you had spent time working out and strengthening your body and exercising, your body will be much more resilient and have a higher level of capacity to deal with that extreme moment than someone who has never worked out before. Does that make sense? So it's about building these small little things that we adults consider are insignificant and dumb, to build the capacity for our children, to help them build the capacity and the resilience with this emotional muscle to fully get to the other side of this, so that by the time they become an adult, they'll know how to move and feel through their big emotions without harming anyone, to be able to know that they can handle it, and that it doesn't mean it sucks less. Right? It does not mean that box jumps or Romanian deadlifts are ever more fun, right? Like, that is not a thing. That's not why we work out. It doesn't make it less fun. It makes it so that we can challenge ourselves, and we know that we can handle whatever comes at us, that we can handle it, that we build confidence in ourselves and our capacity to handle the hard things in life, to handle challenges. And I think when we start to look at emotional resilience as a muscle, then we start to shift, because otherwise it becomes this thing out here that we have no control over. It just comes in and it takes over. But like, have you really ever moved your body through the full motion of, you're angry? Can I accept in this moment I'm angry? Can I validate my own anger? Can I give myself permission and boundaries to be angry without taking it out on my kids or without taking it out on myself? Can I just feel it? And then hone in the sensation of the anger or the action that I need to take to move the anger through in a safe way. Going for a walk, throwing ice, ripping up a piece of paper, painting, drawing, sports, whatever the case may be, right? Feeling that full expression of the energy in my body, moving through my body. And when I feel like I'm going to explode, I'm able to bring it to its highest capacity and know that I am safe and I can feel it, and there's no harm that's going to come to me by feeling this at the most high level of sensation. And then eventually it peaks and it passes. And then I can be, or someone else can be, a safe place for me to land. I am exhausted by moving this anger through, and I can come down and just be in this raw emotional place, and I'm safe. And then as that passes and I move back down to normal life, that I can connect and reconnect and be re-energized with myself, with my partner, with whoever. And I can think about why I got angry, what the process was, and how to recover from that. So, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I hope this makes sense. Thank you for listening all the way through. And I'm hopefully going to be doing more of this, so it makes sense.